Well, Jenny can come.
Yeah.
Jenny may come later.
Well, she'll
Okay, great, we'll do that. And then David, take a seat over there, we'll get Jenny on the chair. And thank you so much. We just want to move things along because we know that, we think we have a lot of time, but we don't. So we want to stay right on target here. And I want to acknowledge that Langston is in the house. Yes. And I'd like to introduce you to Taylor, who is she is the film producer. She's going to tell you who she is, her role. But she is the film producer of the films at Langston that we were able to select from. And we would not have been able to select these original films on our own. They spent hours and hours of really reading through what are the best films to show to the public, and then invited us to do our own showcase. And so I want to thank Langston. I see Ebony Arunga in the back. Thank you, Ebony. She's the executive director of Langston Hughes. Okay.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having us. Again, I'm Taylor. I'm the festival manager for the Seattle Black Film Festival at Langston. We're so happy to be here, especially in a way that's expanded our film festival. This film festival has been going on for over 20 years, and so to kind of go from basically like showing about like 9 or so, 10 films to this year we showed over 100. It's a huge selection process that's volunteer-based, but also between me and Adala, who's here, who's the program assistant for Seattle Black Film Festival. So we sit through and watch every last film that gets submitted or curated, and then they get compiled into our official selection, and then from there, then we get to take those films to satellite screenings such as this one. So some films, the directors are up here, as well as films who also just screened at Langston in general. So I'm up here to kind of facilitate a Q&A with these wonderful filmmakers about their films, the directing process, and where their eyes, hearts, and spirits were when they were in positions of leadership behind this incredible art that we're experiencing today. So I want to first start with some introductions, just getting folks to know who's who up here on the panel and their role in their project. So if we want to start down here with Darren. I know, you saw me looking at you.
They should be on. They're on.
Can you kill the backlight?
No.
No? Okay. The shadow, the ghost, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to project my return.
Oh, no. I got you.
But yes, my name is Darren Dunn. My film is Wild Dreams. I don't believe it's shown.
No, that's a show.
Yeah, Wild Dreams is shot, filmed here in Tacoma, Washington, so you might recognize some faces and places, but yeah, just keep it short.
My name is David Freeweiler. I work with Ginny on the film Pathway to Freedom that you'll see here shortly. With the genesis of this film, the idea was hers, and I was lucky enough to just help her with some of the facilitating, some of the things, many things that have to come together in the film. So I'm very happy to have been able to help us.
Wonderful, thank you.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and like David said, you'll see the short film Pathway to Freedom. I thought that we should do a little short follow-up film because we were both shown in Since I've Been Down, but Willie was still in prison, and my whole conversation in that film was about him still being in prison at the time. So we thought we would do Pathway to Freedom, which is a short film that shows him, the process of him coming out into the community. Because at 18, he was sentenced to 96 years in prison. So we really wanted to highlight what his transition looked like.
Evening, my name is Rick Dupree, and I'm the director and producer of a film called The Seattle Black Panthers Fight for Justice and Freedom. It'll be the first full-length film about the Seattle chapter, and what you'll see tonight is really just a teaser. It's not the film. We're still in post-production, and with the goal of finishing it by the end of the year. And being a first-time filmmaker has been quite the journey. So I'll just leave it at
My name is Gilda Shepherd, and I'm the director, writer, and executive producer of the documentary
feature films since I've been down that you can see on Amazon Prime, so at Peacock, YouTube, Tubi, Movie, and all those places. All right, and it has helped with the organizing effort, particularly from people who graduated from this school. It has helped. It's one of the straws that made that camel not break, but stand up and do the right thing to dismantle some policies. So I think what we all do is systemic change. Not only, we do it in the neighborhood, we do it in the city, we do it in the state, and we do it nationally, right? I mean, Russia wanted to see my film, I wonder why. But there you go. But it's been all over West Africa, East Africa, it's been in Hong Kong, it's been a lot of different places, and the Washington State Supreme Court. I am not saying that because Gilda. The Black Prisoners Caucus is the reason why. I went to prisons to teach, not to make a film. But I do believe that, you know, as James Baldwin says, the role of an artist is like a lover. If I love you, I need to show you things you don't see. Just like the first film that we saw today, there are options, right? And so, thank you so much to I'm on the board of Langston Hughes Cultural Arts Center for Black Brilliance. And you know, even saying that is illegal. Can you imagine?
That's not true.
Alrighty. And again, I'm keeping note of time, because I know we got other films we're going to watch today, so I'll keep my questions brief. But as we're thinking, we're all gathered here today on a similar through line of like what we want to see in our communities. We're telling these stories. So when you thinking from like the production side of things, you got the story, you got the idea. Now, who's the first person you reached out to after you were like, okay, I'm gonna make this film. I'm gonna make this idea into some sort of art project.
You want to start, Dr. Shepherd, and go that way?
To the people in the film, I think it's all relational. I may see a story, but the first persons I asked were the men at Monroe, Cleveland Bay, and so many at Stafford Creek, and the women at Purdy. I said, this is what I want to do. And this is going to be a love letter to children. So that people can see options, because we did the triumph of the human spirit. So who I reached out first is the subject. Right? And then after that, then I jumped through all these hoops with the Department of Corrections. And I was like, but I'm a hustler, Becky, and I just want you to know. Okay.
For the Seattle Black Panthers film, we reached out initially to the co-founders of the Seattle chapter, Elmer and Aaron Dixon. And a quick story is that I work at a school, and our Black Student Union at the school is a private independent school, Seattle Academy. Asked Elmer to speak back in 2020, the start of the pandemic. And so it was a meeting on Zoom. We invited Black student unions from like Lakeside, UPrep, you know, a number of schools. And it was amazing. For an hour plus, he captivated those kids, myself included. And as soon as we hit in the meeting, I called him and said, yo man, we need to do a documentary. And this is when you kind of know it's meant to be, whether you know, whatever your belief is. But for me, you know, knowing, okay, God, you got me, and that is it. I knew Elmer not real well, but without hesitation, he said, let's do it. And a couple weeks later, we got on a Zoom call with Aaron, the older of the two brothers, who's in Mexico, my son, who's a filmmaker, and we said, let's do it. So we've been working on it ever since, but yeah, that was the first step, and then it's like being a first-time filmmaker, like, okay, what do we do now? You don't know what you don't know what you don't know, and so but I mean, I think the thing is that it's an incredible story. I said earlier in response to Terminal 187, you know, we got to tell our stories because we got to change the narrative, and especially for young people. They have this narrative that others are telling them who they are, and it's false. And so we got to tell our stories, and we have to change that narrative, and that's how we're going to start to see a shift. So we have got a lot of storytellers, and I'm at an advanced age starting, but this is maybe the first, but it sure ain't the last.
So I've known David for a long time. He works with the En Masse Incarceration Project. He had gone to a film producing class, so he reached out to me first, and then he introduced me to Sam Hampton, who could not be here tonight. Sam is with the Seattle Social Justice Film Festival, really good friend of Gilda's. And so then we met up in Seattle. That was our first meeting. Then we met a couple times on Zoom. But then we reached out to the community that we work with, because the community that we work with is in the film. So that's how that all started, and David can add more, but I do want to say, spoiler alert, we have another film coming up. We'll start working. Yeah, we start filming in September, so.
I have to correct, something here, that Judy said. This film was Judy's idea. It didn't come about because I reached out to Judy. Oh, so good. Okay. Judy reached out to me because she had a mistaken idea that I knew how to make a film. Somebody started that rumor, somebody who I had just simply did a video interview with, and in that person's mind, they said, wow, he knows how to make a film. But I had happened to take the class with Sam Hampton, and so I knew somebody who could help get this film made. And I mean, that's how so many of these things that we do happen, right? If we don't know how to do it, we know somebody who knows somebody who knows how to do it. So I was just lucky enough to be in that chain to hook Ginny up with Sam, and that's how we got the film made.
I think the first person, one of the first people that I reached out to was the star, my lead actor. I don't think he's here, but many of you may have heard of him. Kwame does the Peace Bus around as a nonprofit humanitarian. But the interesting thing that ordinarily I wouldn't make a movie as quickly as we made this short film. I think I wrote it from script to screen. I think it was like a month. I think I wrote it, we got it cast and locations and things. Yeah, I think it didn't feel like I was really going through it, but things just, I mean, the more I told people what we were doing, the more the community just responded, just wanted to be involved, and they're like, what are you doing? And they say you tell, well, there's a saying that tell your story maybe 1,000 times before you hit record on the camera. Because to get people involved, you have to tell them what it is. What is this about? And you tell them. But one of the first locations we got was at the Washington State History Museum. And I had a meeting there, and I think in the script it was like boardroom, and I think we had a meeting at the History Museum, and literally we walk in and they said boardroom. So the whole time we're in the meeting, I'm just itching waiting for the meeting to be over, because I'm like, who do I talk to about booking this room to shoot my story? But as soon as I let the person know, that they just responded immediately, like, what is the story? Okay, great, when do you need it? And it was almost that easy. Knowing ordinarily it's never that easy, but I think just the city and the community just responded everywhere we went. It was just kind of the same thing. People were, when you need it, just let us know your dates, just let us know when you need it. So I kind of had to almost not work in reverse, but it's like, things were out of order. It's like, well, I got all my locations, so it's like, now I gotta figure out the other things I needed. And people just responded with, Kwame was the first, because it's not really based on him, but it's kind of all of our story, in a way. It's definitely all of our story, but him specifically, because I've known him for so long, I was like, man, you'd be the perfect person for this. So when he said yes, I knew it would open a lot of doors, because thinking as a producer, I'm like, we got a lot of goodwill in the city, people like him, people know who he is. So I'm like, if he's attached, I know we can probably get these other things. So I was just thinking, like, a producer, like, if I get him, then I won't have to work as hard. Who's involved? Kwame, we love Kwame. So it was kind of that. So I made sure I wanted to get him on board early on. So.
Thank you. And that just speaks to the level of like relationships that goes into filmmaking. Filmmaking is all relationships, especially here in the Pacific Northwest. Since being here, just getting on a film set, you just gotta know one person that's already working on that set. So if there's some young folks or people who are just looking to get into film, like these folks here, like the relationships that were built to kind of bring their film together. So there's opportunity. And I want to plug that Seattle Black Film Festival co-hosts filmmaking happy hours for experience levels of all experience levels, all ages. So follow 206 Langston and you can find out about places where you can gather with other either novice and experienced filmmakers to talk shop and hopefully get on those sets as well and begin your filmmaking career. That brings me to my next question, is how long did it take to bring your project from conception to screening? I think that's a short answer, because I think that not a lot of folks maybe know how long that takes and how many hours that is.
Are you ready for this? Hold on to your seat.
Yeah.
12
Yeah.
Well, I had to get in prisons. I had to, do something with the Department of Corrections. So it's getting into these difficult spaces, but also getting into these neighborhoods as well. Because, I work with the Crips and the Bloods. I work with that affiliation, right? Yeah, and I was teaching here.
In the prison.
I was teaching in the prison, so it was all of that. It was building relationships and building trust in the community, right? I'm down, but I'm not a member of their affiliation. Who am I? But Evergreen, Tacoma has a good reputation. Thank you, Dr. Mims, Dr. Joy Hartman, and now you for sure, Dr. Marsha Taylor Runga. And so, into the learn, the part to serve, I bring up Evergreen. And they're like, oh, you're at Dr. Mims school. No, I'm serious. This is very important for us to understand it. And, the power of that. And so, it took me 12 years, and everybody will say, oh, you're afraid of success. Out of your life. Hi. I can't see because you're in the light. Okay. My grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I can't see you because the kids? Oh. I would never have known them. Look at them. Okay, I'm sorry. I know.
Let's pause.
Oh my God! They were the little kids. They were in the film.
Let's give it up for these artists.
I met her here, and she talked to me. She put her hands on her hips. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna work with you." She was this tall.
Yeah, maybe I see him here.
And look, they're the ones with the mask. The little kids, not the guy doing the prompting. And do you know who this is? Do people know?
No, go ahead.
Come here. This is Vicky. I know, but Vicky worked here. Yeah. Right? And so this is the hub, you all.
Yeah.
This is real. This place is sacred. And I met them through her.
Wow.
Right? And when that little girl put her hands on her hips, I was like, oh, girl, it's gonna be on camera. I mean, teeny weeny. See the film, you'll see them. Vicky is wonderful. I'm sorry. I'm an artist, so not a tiny mind. The one in the pink, he has graduation.
Oh, congratulations.
You were down the street at the graduation party. Came in and said hi.
Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful.
They were little. I mean, little. Yeah? Yes.
It's a red line. That's awesome.
You're wonderful. You? Oh my God, thank you so much. This is amazing. This place.
I think you just saw it in action, in relationships, not being afraid as a first time, not being afraid to ask for help. So, Aaron brought up Gilded as a name, and I reached out to Gilded. Actually, since I've been down, it was at local signs at the Northwest Film Forum. And I went and introduced myself to her afterward. Fast forward, last year, we run into each other at an event, and she said, well, I was going to come home. I told her, she said, well, do you have an impact producer? And I'm like,
What's that?
What's that? And she talked about that for Since I've Been Down, having curriculum that goes along with the film. And I'm like, I was thinking of those, I didn't know what it was, but for the Seattle Black Panthers in particular, because the Seattle chapter was so significant. It was the second chapter formed in the Black Panther Party, the first outside California. There's so many things people don't know about it. And so, again, we hired, some of you may know, former Garfield High School teacher Jesse Magopian. He's developing curriculum for us. And so, again, I think for our film, it's going to be probably about 6 years. And trust me, I had no idea going in it would take that long. I was thinking, 2 years maybe. Had no idea about budget or what have you. And so, I guess the thing I would say is that, yeah, be patient. The story has to, for lack of a better way to put it, marinate. So we didn't go into this saying, yeah, it does. Give us any changes. We didn't go in saying, okay, we want to expose this or that or the other. But one thing that really became apparent for us, and I said this to Aaron and Elmer early on, this is your story, and I want your voices. And they said, well, there's a whole lot of other comrades. And so they helped connect us, but having them, the co-founders of the chapter, has given us credibility. So when I'm talking to stations about trying to get archival footage that they're charging thousands of dollars for, telling them that it's an independent film, small budget, that the co-founders of the chapter, that immediately gave us credibility. But again, you have to be patient. But as I met the women and men, and the party was, for the most part, 60% women. People don't know that.
That's right.
And as the story started unfolding, some things came to light, but mainly was that we wanted people to understand why the Black Panthers started. Not to believe the propaganda, all the stuff that was out there, from the FBI, the COINTEL, all that stuff, but they were responding to oppression, and they were responding to the brutalization of police in our community. And so that is a theme that will go throughout our film, as we want people to understand, and we're really highlighting the 10-point plan, the 10-point program, so people understand from the mouths of the founders, Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale. We were just down in Oakland 2 months ago and interviewed 81-year-old Elaine Brown, and my Lord, she's no joke. Yeah. So anyway, it is important to allow the story to. Certainly you maybe have an idea, but in this case, we didn't really have an idea other than we want to tell the story. And so now it has truly evolved into their voices. And the last thing I'll say about it is we opted to do it without narration. And the reason we're doing that is because we want the voices of the women and men that live this to tell the story. So no one can sit there and say, no, you're hearing it from the women and men who experienced it. So that's important.
I would say that Pathway to Freedom probably took about 6 months, and maybe David can help me with that. But I just want to say a little bit about Since I've Been Down. Hilda's team is phenomenal. They came into my house. It can be a little overwhelming when someone says, we're going to come and film in your house, and they come in, and this huge team comes into your house, and they start blacking out the windows, and they're very kind, but it was really incredible how they came in, and they're really in detail, because they said, can we change the shirt that you have on? Can you change those earrings? They were so in detail. Her team is so phenomenal, and they came in and shot part of the Since I've Been Down in my apartment, and then got me ready for, inside the prison, inside Shelter Prison, got me ready to film me while I was sponsoring the Healthy Thinking class. So both times that they came in, they were just so professional, huge team of professionals. It was phenomenal.
Billy's back there, he's in the film, graduate of Tacoma, Evergreen. Billy Griffin.
Yeah, I can't add anything about how long it took. But I thought the previous comments, I think, illustrated that there's no one right way to make a movie. I couldn't make a movie that way. Because of my legal training, I've got to have it all organized in my mind before I start. Right? And that's just the way I am. But other people work just as effectively or maybe more effectively a different way. So, there's no one way to do it.
As I said, ours initially it took, it was about a month, but that was because I had a friend that ran a festival in Palm Springs. And she was like, if you get it in between this, if you get it in by this day, I can make sure you get in there. So, it was a kind of a rush ending, but I guess once everything was done, with sound mix and music and the color and everything, I don't know, maybe close to about 3 months, I'd probably say. But even then, like as you were just saying that, typically it's a lot longer. It's a lot longer process because normally, we have a cast, we have things locked, we have a cast lock, crew locked, location locked, and everything. But I don't know what it is. Maybe I think it's something to do with this region and just Tacoma, Seattle, just the way community just comes together. Things were just moving a lot faster than I was used to. I wasn't prepared for people just to say yes so fast, especially with no money behind it. I mean, we did this with no money. We did this, and I lost money on this thing. I think that's pretty normal on any level. But we weren't paying anyone. We didn't pay for the locations, and normally money will move things a lot faster. And because we didn't have that, and we were just getting favored with people, let's just call it that. We were just getting favored everywhere we went, and things happened a lot faster than I'm used to. So, from the script to the first meeting to, edit for a festival, it was about a month, which was crazy. But after everything was said and done, sound and audio and all that stuff, I think it was about closer to 2.5, 3 months.
That is crazy. My mom is crazy. That just speaks to the success and your effectiveness as a leader and filmmakers on that team. So give these directors and filmmakers another round of applause. And with that, we're going to get started with the next two films.